Hey guys, thanks for joining us. We're here at the livegilmer.com studio. So this is the first time we've used it, but we're hoping to bust out some podcasts on a weekly basis coming up soon. So if there's somebody in particular that you think would be good to interview, or maybe like a subject that affects Upshur County, that you want us to kind of look into and maybe bring a couple people in that are familiar with it, just leave us a comment. Tell us, who you think might be good for that. But today, what we're doing is we're going to interview all the mayor candidates. We got a lot of great feedback whenever we did the city council a few months back, and so we're bringing it back. I know that there's, anytime there's a race like this and it's contested, there's a lot of strong opinions and whatnot. But I think that, and it's obviously not our intent to get in and endorse a candidate or to anything like that, because the way we look at it, Live Gilmer, is that, man, if we've got 3 people that care enough about the county to run for mayor, like, that's a great thing. And I think there's just tons of good momentum happening right now in town. And so what we're trying to do is just harness that and hopefully roll that into the next series of things that are going to be also great for our community. So hope you guys enjoy and tune in for our future podcasts. Thanks. All right. Well, Steve, thank you for joining us today. I really appreciate you taking the time. We did those interviews the last go around, and they turned out great. And a lot of people want us to come back with them and do it again. So
glad to do it.
We thought the mayor race might be an excellent candidate for rolling that again. And we're here. We just got this studio set up. We're going to start doing weekly podcasts and everything. So this is kind of the inaugural rollout, I guess, if you will, of the studio. So thanks for being a part of it.
Cool.
Basically, nothing crazy. We're just wanting to give you an opportunity to kind of tell people who you are and a little bit about your family first off. So tell us about it.
Well, of course, my grandkids are 7th generation Gilmer, Upshur County residents, and so we're here for the long haul, and that's not going to change. And so, all my career, working career, I've been here. We came back out of the Air Force in the end of 1969, and have been here ever since. I've been here, working and running my business here for 51 years now. So, and our family business, Dean Lumber Company, actually started in Upshur County in 1938. So we've been around for a while.
Sure.
My dad was very active in community service and economic development. First with the Gilmer Potteries. He was on the initial committee that brought them in. Later, when Rob Roy was a prospect, he was the very first member of economic development that encouraged them to come in. We donated the land for Dean Street from the Highway 271 to the railroad. That was in 1960. And then when I came back in 1970, we saw a real strong need for Dean Street from Montgomery across the railroad track over to 271. So we donated that land and got that street built. And then in 2000, we had expanded and we needed that larger Dean Street, so we gave that land and got the one we have now. Got that done at no cost to the city, so that was a big area of pride. Some more things that our family has done. We donated the land for the park out at Lake Gilmer. We did that in memory of my brother Mac, who was a Navy pilot that was killed on active duty. And so, we've been real active in the community. We've been fortunate that we could give back.
Sure.
Pay it forward. So that's been one of those things. I'm looking forward to this race. I decided a few months ago, I ran for city council and I got 48% of those votes. So I decided to go ahead and give it another try for mayor. Real interested. I'm 78 years old, so I don't want to kick out before I have a chance to make my contribution.
Right.
So this race is quite unusual because we have 3 candidates.
Right.
Typically, going back in my memory, back to 1970, when I was on the city council, the last 50 years, there's never been a race with 3. And nobody else can remember when we had a mayor's race for 3, so it's really interesting there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And typically, the number of voters that turn out, 400 at the most. We had 1,637 during our election last fall, but that was because it was a national election.
Sure.
But I've been interested in setting up a line of communication for the citizens. Sometimes they have trouble getting a hold of the right person at City Hall. They have trouble getting a hold of their representative. They don't know who to call. So what I'm doing, day one, I'll have a mayor's office, and I'll have 24/7 staff to answer those phone calls when they come. It'll be a toll-free line, it'll be just a local Gilmer number. And then I will receive all of those inquiries, and we'll log those in, and then every day I'll go over those, and then the ones that I can't resolve just by answering a question,
Right.
then we'll send them out to the proper person, City Hall, to get it resolved or to have attention brought to it. And what I plan to do there is keep that list. I hope to catalog those inquiries and keep it at the forefront.
Sure.
And that way people won't feel like they're being neglected. I sort of call that customer service.
Right.
Someone makes an inquiry, you always want to get back to them.
Yep.
So we're going to do that. Sometimes you call and they're busy. They're not overstaffed up at City Hall, so they've got people that are doing multiple jobs.
Right.
And sometimes they can't get off of that job because they're busy.
Sure.
It may be payroll, it may be budget, it may be agenda. So they don't have time.
Right.
And maybe they'll forget, or maybe it'll just fall off their desk or whatever. I mean, it's like normal things. So what we're going to do is make sure that every one of those calls is answered and everyone gets some response. And so that's what I call making the voter the customer.
Right.
Just like you respond to your inquiries. In going around the community and talking to voters, streets, that's the top thing on their mind.
Right.
And I mean, like one after the other. And it's not really griping. It's just bringing to the forefront what the needs are. And of course, I attended the County Commissioners Court last week, and they had an entire session on county roads.
Right.
And it's the same thing.
Right.
And it's a huge problem, and it's a huge challenge because it costs so much money to build a road, to fix a street.
Right.
And so so I think what we need to do there, first, we need to take care of safety issues. I mean, if there's a problem that causes a safety concern, there's no doubt that's got to be fixed right now.
Sure.
But in the long run, we need to have a master plan that the people know about. So when you build streets or when you have a project, it doesn't need to come as a surprise.
Right.
Everybody needs to know. And so I'd like to get public involvement in creating and keeping updated a master plan.
Gotcha.
Everybody gets their input, and the master plan is publicized. It stays on the city's website, and anybody that wants to check it out can check it out.
Yes.
And if they've got a concern, and they'll know what the thinking is as far as financing and how they can get the money. Right along with streets, I call it community pride. It's the people taking care of their property. You've got a neighbor that's not taking care of his, and it devalues your property.
Sure.
You've got a family that maybe you live in Gilmer and your parents want to move to Gilmer. They've been living in Plano, let's say.
Right.
And so they drive through the neighborhoods and they're like, I don't know about this, because the streets and such as that are not in what they're used to. And so sometimes that discourages people and causes them to move on. Of course, in a very well-known case in this room,
right,
the parents are here and they're here because of the grandkids.
Right.
So that's something we need to work on. And that sort of goes along with code enforcement and community rules. I'm not sure exactly what you call that, but it's pride,
right,
self-esteem. Those things need to be, we need more education on that.
Right.
Education, encouragement, and then enforcement. But education comes first, then encouragement. And so then if it comes down to it, enforcement it is important. And then,
so how do you, like on something like that, like kind of, I mean, because I agree with what you're saying, and as far as like the education piece, like what do you think would be a good way to kind of roll that out and just like let people know the importance of something like that?
Well, I think that the Live Gilmer program gives an example of what needs to be done. I mean, people look up to that and they're encouraged by that, and they say, hey,
sure,
hey, we're trying. Our community is waking up, and we realize what the possibilities are.
Sure.
And so let's look around our neighborhood and try to make it better.
Sure.
And then so you educate, and then you encourage, and the same reasons that Live Gilmer is successful because it encourages people, and the success feeds on itself.
Right.
And so that's that's part of it, and then the chamber and the schools and churches and all the organizations can accept the challenge,
right,
to put the word out.
Sure.
Because that covers, I mean, if you take all those organizations, that covers everybody in town.
Right.
I mean, they're going to be talking to those people. So that's one of the things that we can do.
Mm-hmm.
And and then quality of life is sort of along the same line. Public-private partnership is absolutely critical to succeed. I think private businesses, just like your own, just like all these businesses around the square, have made a financial commitment, and they're ready to see it grow. And so anything that City of Gilmer can do to add to that, to be the spark plug, to make it doable, they need to do.
Sure.
Not only in giving permission, but they need to be a cheerleader.
Right.
And they need to dig deep and find ways that they can help provide some funding for that. I know that recently they had a surplus of, I think, $32,000 on the lake repair project, and they transferred that to the downtown development budget. The only problem with that is that we don't know what that development program is.
Right.
I don't think. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not aware.
I don't know what the budget is. I don't know where the budget goes. So,
Sure.
So I think the council needs to be more aware of that. They need to know, what's going on. My eyes are not focusing.
Yeah, you're fine. We can. Let me turn my phone off.
So other, quality of life is, development of our critical care health facility. We need to look at what can be done. The MSA designation for Longview Gilmer is hurting us in that respect. According to the federal government, Gilmer is a metropolitan area. And anybody that lives in Gilmer knows better than that.
Right.
But the feds say it is. So they've just now changed the criteria to where we'll no longer be a metropolitan. We'll be a small town. So we'll get the benefits of small towns. We'll have better health care reimbursements. The MSA designation is the reason we lost our hospital. So coming back, it could recreate or help us get some critical health care. The cities like Longview that are going to be impacted by that are lobbying fiercely not to let it happen, but it will be a huge benefit for Gilmer
Right.
if it goes through. And I think this sort of shows, theoretically and legally we're a partner with Longview, but in fact, they're taking advantage of us rather than the other way around. And it shows up more than in anything else in sales tax. It all goes to Longview and it sucks it out of Gilmer and Upshur County. And so there's legislative and congressional activity on that right now. I've been working with Congressman Gohmert since 2018 to get that modified, and we may have a chance to get it if the lobbyists don't overcome us. The other thing, of course, is to encourage support of our public schools, encourage tourism. I mean, that's one of the biggest economic development activities in the state. Encourage retail business growth, financial support. The banks, they're all over it. They love it, and they're very receptive to that. Quality of life, probably the first thing that a family looks at bringing their children in here is the school.
Sure.
And so and we're lucky. We're fortunate that Gilmer has a great school. And of course, there's 8 other school districts in the county. And so that's good. We need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make that better. And so that's one thing. Certification, every elected office in the county, the school board require their members to be certified. The week that you're first elected, the month, you go to school and you get certification. The only elected officials in the county that don't get that are the city councilman and the mayor. It's not required. I think they should have to do that. I think if they're going to serve and be effective, they should go get certified.
And those certifications, I guess, are just kind of running through the expected duties of that role and kind of how they...
Well, it's 63 hours of training.
I gotcha.
And, I've got a list right now that's got probably 50 or 60 names on it from everywhere from the current class, for example, everywhere from the mayor of Sugar Land to city council in Floresville. It covers the gamut of everybody. Rockport, Conroe, Beaumont, Waxahachie, Bastrop, Pflugerville. All these towns require that, and Gilmer doesn't. So a councilman, I don't think he can be effective. It should not be a popularity contest. It should be an opportunity for someone to be effective. And in wrapping that up in the same thing, there's 2 forms of government in municipalities. There's a strong council mayor, weak manager. And then the other one is strong manager, weak council mayor. So we have right now, we have strong manager, weak council mayor. And so that's being turned around. Most towns now are voting it the other way, so that the council and the mayor have the strength. They set the tone for the type of government that they want. They want a local flavor, and then they hire a good city manager, well-trained, well-certified, to to run that city and to do it the way the council and mayor think it should be done. And we have a manager that can do that. The way I think it should work, though, would be for the council and mayor to have a little more input on how that's done.
Sure.
And so, and the way it is, though, right now, we have a strong manager and weak council mayor. So sometimes the manager has an opportunity to set policy, and maybe it's not quite what the council mayor wanted, but they're a little bit timid to vote against it. And then the other thing, with the type of government we have right now, with the strong manager, weak council mayor, the one thing the mayor can do, the one thing, is be the ambassador for the city. The ambassador can reach out, find opportunities, and help make Gilmer better. And so boiling it down, I want to be the ambassador for Gilmer. I want to be the guy that's out there waving the flag, being the cheerleader, bringing people in, supporting Live Gilmer, supporting the churches, the schools, and all the other things that we have here, and be actively involved.
Sure. Sure.
So that's it. That boils
Easy
it
as
down.
that. A little bit of transparency, and a little bit of cheerleading. It's kind of the
bunch
moral of
of
the
it.
story. Yeah, that's great.
right.
Well, that's great. Well, shoot. Well, hey, I sure appreciate you coming out. I mean, is there anything else that you wanted to get out there? Or?
Well, I just I hope that the citizens will see fit to elect me and let me work and let me serve. I've got no agenda. I've got no bones to pick. I just want to see everything work good. And yes, I did have one other thing.
Yeah, sure.
Lake Gilmer is the biggest economic development investment that we have. We've got more money invested out there, $25 million that the city invested. And right now we're not getting any return from that. We haven't sold one bottle of water from Lake Gilmer, and we make 5.5 million gallons every day. So that would be a huge value. And I will say this, that I've got it worked out. My relationships with the feds and with the state, that I've got it worked out so we can resolve those problems and move forward at no cost, actually at income to the city. And so all I need there is support from City Hall. And so I'm looking for that, and I'm willing to do that kind of work if they'll let me.
Gotcha.
So I think it's good for the city. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.